Growth hormone promotes, let me talk about that point. Growth hormone promotes generation of glucose, exactly opposite to the function of beta cells of islets of Langerhans. Are you with me? Are you okay? Okay, so it is, so growth hormone is also called as a, get the name, diabetogenic hormone. Hello, what name am I giving you? Means what? It will produce diabetes. It will produce what? Diabetes. Now here is a very interesting point. If a child is not growing at a proper rate, by the way the child is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, when we expect the child to grow, are you okay with me? Okay. And if the parents feel that the growth is not as good as it should be, then why can't we give growth hormone? Because see, the market is full of, if you go to the internet, you will find out there are marketing people who keep on advising that use growth hormone for growth. Okay, it's full of. But if you seriously ask an endocrinologist, a doctor, a physician who has specialized in endocrinology, he is rather nervous about it, because a growth hormone, it will promote growth, no doubt about it. Okay, there are every chances that it may produce diabetes. Are you getting it? So keep this thought deep in your mind, that using a growth hormone can be very, I mean, you think a lot about it and then finally say, I would rather not. Okay, all right. Yes.
This slightly unrelated.
Go ahead.
Coupled with insulin administration, growth hormone.
Which one?
If we inject growth hormone,
Yes.
we coupled with insulin.
You can, but the that does not stop the diabetogenic action of growth hormone. Yeah, it does not. Growth hormone may kill beta cells under unnatural conditions. Are you getting it? Under unnatural, as long as it is normal biology, nothing happens, it works fine. Okay, but the moment you give an exogenous hormone, okay, you are, in what subtle way we are disturbing the balance, we don't know. But in that particular case, growth hormone may simply kill the beta cells and you have generated diabetes. Okay. Same is the story read about testosterone, a very similar story. I will not talk about it now.
So in the biological system, if there is growth hormone release, there will be increase in the blood glucose, but there will be other mechanism to regulate it.
Absolutely correct. Okay. And then we also get the beta cells are also protected. It doesn't. But if you, okay.
So did the growth hormone, like the larger rat with growth hormone, like extensively given, did it have diabetes?
They did have. Oh yeah. That's a very interesting question. We have those animals. They were short lived. Okay. Eventually pathological issues developed in them, and they had problems. I mean, they were on absolute. I mean, it's not that you have that advantage and then everything. No. This is always a price. So here we have the. Okay, so just now I talked about the osteoblasts and osteoclasts. Okay. So so here is a. This bone is another very interesting subject. Something very interesting, I'll tell you. Listen to this. Each and every bone in your body, go to every molecule today, okay, and there is a continuous turnover of the molecules of the bones in your body. And it is roughly estimated that after a period of 9 years, none of the molecules there were there 9 years back. Are you getting the argument? I mean, simple enough. Why am I telling you? Just to give you an idea that there is a continuous turnover of bones. It's slow, it's there. Okay, but the moment that you have it, none of them will be there. There will be each molecule is in turnover. Okay, so we have a continuous, what you call as remodeling of bones, and then there are two types of cells. I said osteoclast and osteoblasts. The osteoclasts are the cells which are continuously breaking down the bones. So they have enzymes and they release enzymes and they'll break down, and then that calcium is again sent to the blood. Okay, and then there are osteoblasts, and those osteoblasts will take that calcium and keep on making the bone. And okay. And any disturbance in this balance in favor of osteoclasts will give osteoporosis. Hello, are you with me? And this process of calcium deposition to a large extent depends on estradiol, which is the female sex hormone. As a result of that, okay, postmenopausal women, because they have lost or reduced source of estradiol, okay, they eventually suffer from what? Osteoporosis. Okay, just remember those thoughts. They are very interesting. Okay, so we are talking here about what? We are talking about growth hormone. Growth hormone acts on the liver. Liver, it gives rise to IGF-1. Okay, and that IGF-1 is so. Here, author tells us that the action of growth hormone on the bone, okay, is mediated by what? IGF-1. IGF is a peptide hormone being secreted by what organ? Under the influence of what? Growth hormone. Growth hormone. So, let us see now how. A very interesting image. You see, he is an explorer, a European explorer who is exploring the deeper areas in Africa, and there are certain tribes, okay, and those tribes are called as what? They are called as dwarfs. What do you, pygmies? What do you call them as? Yeah. What do you call them? They are there. They are still there. What do you call them as? Pygmies. Now, when they took the samples, blood samples, they found that the growth hormone level was normal. Okay, but what they were really lacking was IGF-1. Okay, and are you with me? So why? Because those populations have some problem, some mutation. As a result of that, their gene for the synthesis of IGF-1, okay, is just not functional. So, as a result of that, whatever action that you are getting of GH is there, but the action of GH that is dependent on IGF-1 is not there. Okay, and therefore, you get this sort of pygmies. Now, that IGF-1 that I am calling is called as, was originally discovered as a protein, as proteins, which was, of course, they are all proteins. They were called as somatomedin. What were they called as? To mediate the action, somatomedin. And 4 different proteins have been found, 1 to somatomedin, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, out of that we are going to ignore the 3 and just we are going to focus on somatomedin C. Why? Because tell me why? Because it is same as IGF-1. Somatomedin is what? Same as IGF-1. Okay, all right. So, the pygmies of Africa have a congenital inability to synthesize significant amount of somatomedin C. Somatomedin C. Are you there with me? Therefore, even though their plasma concentration of growth hormone is either normal or high, okay, they have diminished amounts of somatomedin C in the plasma. This apparently accounts for the small stature of the people, and some of them are dark, and for example, that's it. You can read about it.
Is there any environmental advantage these people?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. You are asking what selective advantage they might have had over this. It's an anthropological problem. I don't know the answer. Okay, but the question is very interesting. Why has nature selected this there? Okay, and what were the condition and when did the mutation happen? I mean, it's a very interesting question, and I'm sure anthropologists have dealt with it, but I am not aware of the answer. Okay, okay. So let's see. So here we have the amino acid sequence of IGF-1. It's about 70 amino acid peptide. Insulin has how many amino acids I mentioned there just mentioned? Very good. So, from the pituitary gives rise to a growth hormone. That growth hormone acts on the bone, but it also needs the growth hormone acts on the liver. Okay, and then the liver gives rise to IGF, and the IGF can act on the osteoblasts, and you need the. Okay, so here we have the growth hormone has direct effects on what? Fat metabolism, carbohydrate metabolism, lipolysis, blood sugar level. Indirect effect, liver and other organs, IGF-1, skeletal, muscle, adipose, chondrogenesis, that is what is chondrogenesis? Cartilage, and the muscle plus adipose tissue, protein synthesis going up. So, IGF also, protein synthesis goes up, cell proliferation goes up. Okay. Now, this is an interesting figure. Just look at this. We are going to talk about how the feedback control of the release of growth hormone is regulated at the level of the anterior pituitary gland. Growth hormone, how is it regulated? Okay. The answer is pretty interesting. Okay. So, let us see. There are two groups there, paraventricular nucleus and arcuate nucleus, PVN and arcuate. Now, life becomes more complicated. PVN, paraventricular nucleus. What is it? It is a group of neurons. Where is it? In the hypothalamus. It is mainly known for secreting vasopressin. Secreting what? Some of the cells also secrete SST. SST is what? Somatostatin. Secrete what? So, it is very difficult, you know, I mean it is easy to say, but it is ultimately when you go to the hypothalamus, it is the same group of neurons, it secretes this peptide also, that peptide also. So, it is very difficult for me to say that this nucleus is equal to, no. The paraventricular nucleus secretes actually 6 vasopressin also, oxytocin also, and SST also, and CRF also, but it is okay. So, the paraventricular nucleus, somatostatin, and that has that is inhibitory, okay. So, the dotted line and then so the growth hormone secreting cells are being stimulated by ARC is arcuate nucleus. What is it called as? If you can remember, fine. If you can't remember, I would prefer that you remember. Okay, arcuate nucleus. What do you call it as? You know why arcuate nucleus is very exciting, I will tell you what. Listen to this. When you have a heavy food which is carbohydrate rich, as a result of that, within after 15 minutes to 20 minutes, the beta cells have, there is a spurge of insulin. That insulin goes everywhere. Follow the story. It goes to the median eminence. In the median eminence, it comes out of the blood-brain barrier and it talks to the neurons of the arcuate nucleus. Who talks to whom? Insulin is talking what? To neurons, and neurons are sitting where? ARC, neurons, it is hypothalamus, ARC, arcuate nucleus, okay. And this is how brain knows that your sugar level is suddenly high. Are you with me? So, the question is, should brain know or not know about your blood sugar level? The answer to it should. Oh, come on, it is brain, okay. How can brain afford to be ignorant? It cannot, okay. And remember, this knowledge is not very old, it is all 10, 15 years, 15, 20 years, okay. I mean, for example, if you go to the entire literature in diabetes till almost 2002, okay, diabetes is our periphery, all periphery beta cells going down, insulin resistant, 100 things. Brain was not there at all. Brain was not even considered, it was not even a candidate to be thought of. But then these interesting thoughts came up. What is it? That insulin crosses blood-brain barrier at the level of median eminence, talks to the neuron of what? Arcuate nucleus, okay. And then that information from arcuate nucleus, now it is once in the brain, it is in the circuits, and then the brain knows what? That the blood sugar level is high, okay. And then eventually downstream processes like, well, if the blood sugar is level, I better store it. So then do I give the instructions to the adipose tissue so that you absorb that sugar, convert it into fat and store it as a fat vesicle, or give the information again to the liver, make sure that you take in that glucose. I mean, of course, endocrine system is working, but the brains also now comes into the play, and therefore now in last 20 years the nucleus has shifted as far as the study of diabetes is concerned from the periphery and the beta cells. Of course, it is important, but that brain could also have a very interesting or important role, and therefore you cannot really avoid the study of the arcuate neurons and its cells, okay. Answer my question. Would I or would I not find insulin receptors on the plasma membrane of the neurons of the arcuate nucleus? Yes, you do. You do, because if you don't find the receptor, finished, that is it. Yeah, the pudding is good because it tastes good. Insulin receptors have to be there on the, and they are there. Are you with me? just to complete the story, we have taken a detour, but it is very interesting. The other hormone which is equally important is leptin. What is it? Leptin. Say that again. What is leptin? Leptin is again a peptide hormone, and it is coming from the endocrine gland is very good. What is it? So, is adipose tissue, the fat cells in your body, are they a source for a hormone? Yes. What is the name of the hormone? Leptin. Okay. Actually, leptin and insulin are the two hormones of the periphery. Insulin coming from the beta cells, leptin coming from the fat bodies, which continuously tell the arcuate nucleus about the energy level in the periphery. How is your blood glucose level? Brain knows by way of these two agents. Okay, let us go ahead. Okay. So, the pituitary will secrete the growth hormone, and the liver will give rise to IGF. The IGF will be act on. So, what is the message in the slide? The message is that the feedback information about the action of growth hormone on the periphery is being taken back to the brain by way of insulin like growth factor. Can you get this image? Insulin like growth factor is being released by what organ? It is going and acting on where? So pituitary is on, pituitary itself is releasing growth hormone. Okay. But if you give, supposing I give a shot of insulin and growth factor, what will be its effect on the, will it act on the pituitary? It will, it will. Okay. On what kind of cells it will act? On the growth hormone cells. Do the growth hormone cells have receptors for IGF-1? Yes. Okay. And what will it do? What will it do? It is a dotted line, it is inhibitory. Okay. Then the IGF can it also act how? On the hypothalamus. Okay. How does it go? Again via median eminence. Hello, there is only one way there. Again via median eminence. Okay. It will go and talk to the hypothalamus. In the hypothalamus, it may talk to the somatostatin secreting cells. Okay. Stimulate somatostatin secreting cells. Excess of somatostatin will go to the pituitary gland and inhibit the cells of the growth hormone. So, this is how the release of growth hormone is being regulated. Yes, please.
I have a doubt.
Yes. Yes.
Is IGF going to the pituitary gland through the median eminence?
No. Pituitary gland is completely out of the blood. Pituitary gland, particularly, okay. Is anterior pituitary gland a part of the brain? Yes or no? What have we learnt in the last 1 hour? Is anterior pituitary a part of brain? Yes or no? No. What do you mean? Of course no. No. Big no. No. Is posterior pituitary part of the brain? Yes. Don't confuse that fundamental. Okay. Is anterior, so there is no question of anterior pituitary being out of the, the capillaries are like anywhere else. Actually one of the basic criteria of an endocrine gland is that the capillaries which pass through them are abundantly, those capillaries have lots of pores. Okay, and those pores ensure that what all the hormone that is being secreted by the endocrine readily gets into extracellular fluid, gets into the capillary, and then it is taken everywhere. So, there are plenty of, there is free traffic. It is not. It's not. Okay, here let us take a look at the. Okay, so what are we looking at? We are looking at a growth hormone secretion. So you remember we had that fluorescence slide where we had several growth hormone secretors. I take one cell from there, one cell, and then blow it up here. Okay, so far, and this cell will have two receptors. What is it? GHRH. Okay, and it will have receptor for what? Somatostatin. This is the structure of somatostatin here. Same somatostatin, which is from the beta cells and I am sorry, what cells? D cells. Okay, or from the stomach. Okay, and so this will act on what is the common feature of both the receptors? 7 transmembrane G protein coupled system. So growth hormone will have the receptors, and then they are whereas this, okay, will bring about stimulate adenyl cyclase, whereas somatostatin will what? You can see there, it inhibit. Okay, so if somatostatin is given, cyclic AMP concentration will go down. and the cell will be inhibited, and it acts here, and then this gives rise to the enzyme, I am sorry, some genes will be activated and growth hormone, and the growth hormone will come into the circulation. Here you have this is an extremely rare condition, but whenever we talk about growth hormone, we generally talk about couple of diseases. One is a very famous example of Robert Wadlow. He died very young, of course, but he had a tumor in the pituitary gland, and as a result of that, he had excess of growth hormone secretion, and that was at an early stage. So, his height was something like 7 to about 8 feet. Okay, are you getting it? And then he had diabetes. Are you getting the same argument there? Okay. So, that is called as that disease is called as gigantism. What is it called as? Just put this in Google and you will get the image of Robert Wadlow, an extremely tall person. Okay. The second thing is, if you have the disease, I mean Robert Wadlow had the disease when in the growing age. As even before as a child of 7, 8, 9, 10, he started growing tall and tall. If the growth hormone secretion is accelerated a little later, okay, what do I mean little? What do I mean by little later? Okay, I will explain this point and I will stop now. We have long bones. What do you have? Long bones. Follow this diagram, I will try to explain it very quickly. This is a long bone of your body, maybe in the hands, maybe in the femur. Are you with me? And the length has to grow if you have to grow in the height, it has to grow. Okay. Now, the cells here, the bone here is still not fully formed at the ends. This part is called as epiphyseal disc. What do you call it as? Epiphyseal disc. Say that again. Epiphyseal disc. And these epiphyseal discs are abundantly equipped with receptor for IGF-1. Okay? And as the child is growing, okay, these epiphyseal discs, okay, they help in the laying down of the bone and growth. So, the bone keeps on growing. And as an individual reaches adolescence, okay, reaches what? Adolescence. Particularly in the case of girls and also in the case of boys, it is with the onset of menstruation, there is a surge in the case of estradiol hormone, and that estradiol hormone completely stops the epiphyseal discs. So, that is the end of the epiphyseal disc, and therefore, there is end of any growth in height. Okay. Are you with me? So, that is it, because estradiol has effect that is exactly opposite to the effect of IGF on the epiphyseal disc. So, you grow to a particular point, and then there is increase in the case of what? Estradiol. Okay. And then what about the boys? Does testosterone have a similar action? No. In the case of boys also it is estradiol. Okay. Estradiol is the same function which is anti-epiphyseal disc, okay, which completely seals the disc. Epiphyseal cells are not there anymore, and then the bone is completely solidified, and then this bone cannot grow. It can remodel, but it can't grow. Why? Because epiphyseal discs are finished. The cells of the epiphyseal disc are cells. There are lots of cells. When we are born with lot of cells, they are just near the ends of all the long bones, and they are under the influence of the growth hormone and the IGF, and they keep on, and that number goes on reducing as you grow, and finally, when you reach adolescence, hardly any cells, the reproductive hormones, the cells are dead, no more growth. Are you getting the importance of that? Okay. All right. So, this is the beauty of the okay, and this is a case in which a person is an adult now and has a problem with excess of growth hormones, okay, and the disease is then the bones of the jaw and the bones of the face and the bones at here, they become very thick, okay, and that condition is called as acromegaly. What do you call it as? Acromegaly. Okay, I'll stop now.